If you keep attracting the same toxic partners again and again, it's not because something is wrong with you. It's because your past may still be whispering into your present. Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm really glad you are here today. We are going to explore a deeply personal topic, one that often feels like a confusing mystery to those in the thick of it. Have you ever wondered why, despite your best intentions and your genuine desire for a happy relationship, you end up in dynamics that feel eerily similar to the ones that hurt you before? It turns out, there is a hidden mechanism at play. A silent guide from your earlier years that steers your choices without you even realizing it. This isn't about blaming you for the heartbreak you have endured. Instead, it is about uncovering the invisible threads that might be pulling you toward people who cannot love you the way you deserve. Let's start with the foundation of how we view love. Experts often suggest that people may feel drawn to dynamics that mirror old emotional patterns. When we are young, we are like sponges, absorbing not just the words our caregivers say, but the way they make us feel. If your early environment was filled with anxiety, or if you had to perform or be perfect to earn affection, your brain categorizes that struggle as normal. It learns that love is something you have to fight for, or that love is accompanied by a constant fear of loss. Later in life, when you meet someone who offers that same struggle, it doesn't feel like danger. Paradoxically, it feels like home. It feels safe not because it is healthy, but because it is familiar. Think about that for a moment. It is a powerful realization that shifts the weight off your shoulders. You aren't consciously choosing pain. You are subconsciously choosing the environment you know how to survive in. This leads us to a confusing reality where chaos can sometimes feel like chemistry. Some people find that emotional unpredictability feels strangely familiar and exciting. When you meet someone and there are immediate fireworks, intense highs, and scary lows, your nervous system might mistake that high-alert anxiety for passion. You might think it is a soulmate connection because of how overwhelming the feeling is. But often, it is just your body reacting to a recognizable level of stress. If you grew up walking on eggshells, a partner who keeps you on your toes might trigger a rush of adrenaline that feels like love, even though it is actually a trauma response. But here's the part most people never notice. It isn't just about the excitement, it is about a hidden hope for repair. Many psychologists note that people are sometimes drawn to unresolved emotional themes from childhood in a subconscious attempt to fix them. It is almost as if the mind is trying to rewrite history. By choosing a partner who makes you feel small, or unheard, or anxious, just like a figure from your past did, you might be unconsciously hoping that this time, you can change the outcome. You hope that this time, if you are just good enough, or patient enough, you can make them love you the way you needed to be loved back then. It is a search for resolution, but it often leads to repetition. This next idea might explain more than you expect about why good relationships don't stick. When you are used to the emotional roller coaster, stability can feel incredibly foreign. Some people say comfort feels uncomfortable when chaos was their normal growing up. A healthy, consistent partner who calls when they say they will, who treats you with respect, and who doesn't play mind games might seem boring or lacking in spark. You might sit there on a date with a kind person and feel zero chemistry. Not because they aren't a great match, but because your system is waiting for the drop. In reality, that lack of anxiety isn't a lack of chemistry, it is just the absence of a trigger. But because it feels so flat compared to the highs and lows you are used to, you might walk away from the very thing that could heal you. Here's where it gets interesting. We can think of this pattern as the childhood trauma loop. It is not a clinical diagnosis, but rather a compassionate way to understand your emotional gravity. Think of it as your mind gravitating toward what it recognizes, not what's good for you. It is a protective mechanism gone wrong, trying to keep you in safe, known territory, even if that territory is painful. Your brain prefers a familiar hell over an unfamiliar heaven, simply because it knows the rules of the hell. It knows how to navigate the arguments, the silence, and the emotional distance. The peace of a healthy relationship involves a vulnerability that can feel terrifyingly unsafe to someone who has always had to protect themselves. Most people don't realize this is happening until they are deep in the dynamic. The loop often reveals itself in how we abandon ourselves. You might notice that your boundaries disappear the moment you like someone. You might find yourself overgiving, trying to manage their emotions, or walking on eggshells to keep the peace. You might find yourself tolerating red flags or accepting behaviors from a partner that you would never, ever accept from a friend. This self-abandonment is the fuel that keeps the toxic cycle running. It is the echo of the child who learned that their needs were less important than the needs of the people around them. But here's the moment the loop begins to break. Change doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen through self-judgment. It starts with simple awareness. Many people find that once they recognize the pattern, it becomes easier to pause and reflect before repeating it. Instead of reacting on autopilot when you feel that intense, anxious spark, you can stop and ask yourself a question. Am I choosing this person because they are good for me, or am I choosing them because they feel familiar? This small pause is where your power returns. It allows you to separate your past programming from your present reality. And this is where the cycle quietly repeats itself unless we address our self-worth. Some experts suggest that we accept the love we believe we deserve, even when we deserve far more. If deep down, beneath the logic, you feel you have to earn love, you will choose partners who make you work for it. If you believe love is painful, you will be suspicious of love that is easy. Raising your standards isn't just about demanding more from others. It is about believing you are worthy of peace without having to fight for it. It is about convincing that inner part of you that you are enough, exactly as you are. And that you do not need to fix someone else to be worthy of love. Stepping outside old patterns can feel like stepping into the unknown, but the unknown is often where peace begins. It is important to know that breaking the loop feels uncomfortable at first. Healthy love can feel slow. It burns like a hearth, not like a wildfire. Trust takes time to build, and it is given to people who earn it through consistent action, not just intense promises. At first, this calmness might feel wrong, almost like you are waiting for the other shoe to drop. You might feel an urge to create drama just to feel something familiar. But sitting with that discomfort, breathing through it, and allowing yourself to be bored is part of the process of rewiring your expectations. You are not broken, and you are not doomed to repeat this forever. These attraction patterns are learned behaviors, which means they can be unlearned. As you grow in self-awareness and compassion for yourself, your definition of love will evolve. It will shift from something that hurts to something that heals. You will start to find the boring safety of a kind partner to be the most beautiful thing in the world. You are not defined by who you've loved in the past or the mistakes you think you have made. You are defined by who you become when you finally understand your worth. If this video spoke to you, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. It truly helps the channel to reach more people who might need to hear this message. Remember, healing is a journey, and you are doing better than you think. Thank you for watching.